here we are. Here we are. So I feel like I say this at the start of every video, and I'm going to stop saying it soon, because at the moment I'm doing videos about every quarter. So the last one was start of July. It's been a long time. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry, because I've had a lot of stitching done. So I've got a lot to show you, which is great. So it's going to be a jam-packed video full of stuff, stitchy stuff. I'm really feeling my bug at the moment, so that's really exciting. And I have plans to do regular videos. Plans are in the works. Plans are in the works. Anyway, but until then, we're going to talk about July, August and September and, well, most of October, frankly, because it's the 17th. So what's been going on? Lots been going on. Lots of stitching. Like I said, I've got my bug back. I never really lost my bug, but I've just had more time for stitching, and I've been prioritising stitching, which is what we should all do, prioritise the things we love and feed our souls. So that is what I've been doing. So I'm going to go through my Instagram, because that's how I'm going to keep track of what I've done. And we'll talk about what's coming up. So what have I done? What have I done? Okay, finishes. We'll talk finishes. You know, I love to start with a finish. So I did this little number, Mill Hill. I'm loving Mill Hill. Loving Mill Hill, always love Mill Hill. This one here got sent to me by the beautiful Sandra, and it's a cat in a box, obviously. Look at that little charmer. He's very sweet. So I stitched him up. Didn't take too long, I don't think. How long did that take? 1st of July, and I finished it 15th of July, so 2 weeks, start to finish. You know, I mean, you could like do this in a couple of days, but not when you have a job, not when you have things to do. But they don't take long. And this is my new favourite way of hanging a Mill Hill. It doesn't say to do this, I don't think, but I just use the leftover beads and do some kind of pattern of those and string them, and it seems to hang straight when you use a beaded. It's just like one piece of thread or 2 pieces of thread, like doubled over. And yeah, he's super cute, so he'll be going on the tree this year. Now, I don't back my Mill Hill ornaments. See, that's the back. It's not perfect. Who cares? It's not about being perfect, is it? Maybe I should back these with felt. Julie, my friend, and I have been discussing how to back these. So adhesive felt, is that what you do? Is that what you do? What do you do? What do you do on the back of these? Tell me. Tell me how you finish your Mill Hill ornaments, because I've got a few now, and whether I can go back and fix them up, I don't know. We'll work it out. So that's my first finish for the quarter. Then you would have seen I was seriously focusing on Nefertiti when we last spoke. I was determined, because if you wind right back to the beginning of my stitching life, which I'm sure you all follow and know, obviously, I stitched Tutankhamun, a Janlynn kit back in, I don't know, 95 or something like that. I stitched Boy King, Tutankhamun. I'll put a photo of that in here if you like. And then I stitched Nefertiti, Queen Nefertiti. And yes, we do hang them on coat hangers, by the way, Teresa. So she's done, and look, she's so sparkly and lovely. I hope she's going to show up for you today. Yeah, she's sparkling. She's full of metallic thread, which if you watch Ladybird Stitcher, Lorna will attest to the fact that it's a pain in the ass, these metallics. But I just persevered. I dug in and I got it done. So she's sparkly, and look at her. See that? Metallic thread, blending filament right through. Almost every stitch has got blending filament. Some up here doesn't. In the pink in the band doesn't, but the gold, most of the gold does. This blue in the centre here does. Most of it, all the face, all the gold in the face, has all blending filament in it. And I love her. I'm so happy with how she's turned out. So I have purchased just some cheap black frames, which I'm going to reframe Tutankhamun and frame up Neffy. So they're a matching pair. And, yeah, so it's done. Yay! I started this in Stitch Mania last year, I believe. So I'm really happy about her. Another thing, if you don't like subversive cross stitch, just take a break for like 3 minutes. Won't take long. So I stitched this for a friend of mine, and I'm going to insert a photo of it here. Swear word warning. 1, 2, 3. Okay, here it is. Do all things with kindness, you fucker. I feel bad for swearing. I feel bad for swearing. I'm sorry. And look, I shouldn't. It's just a word, whatever. Anyway, so I stitched that for my friend who I work with, and it's so her. And it gave me an excuse to stitch a subversive, because I wouldn't stitch one for myself. It's just not my thing. But I think they're funny. So that was fun. That was just off the Etsy shop somewhere. If I can find the Etsy shop, I will put it in here. And it was like $5 or something to buy the pattern. And it stitched up really quick, and I gave it to her for her birthday in August, so that was fun. Next finish, which I don't think you saw it for you. Anyway, it's FFO'd. Yeah, look, Snowman Banner. FFO'd. So this one here, this is what it said to do. This bit's following the instructions. So the instructions said it came with this like wool. It said like plait it and just stitch it on here and here. Did that. It came with there's a little timber rod sewn in there. So I did that. I added these little wooden charms. They were an addition. So I put them on there. I bought them at a craft fair when I was there with Vintage Stitcher, Joe, and added those. And I really like the back stitched snowflakes too. They're pretty cool. So I added those on there just to give a bit of extra dimension. He's got his little fluffy fringed on his scarf, and this one's got a pom-pom over here and all that. And then I backed it with some Christmassy type stuff. Sewed it on. Oh, that's coming later. Sewed it on here and fringed the bottom, which was part of the pattern too, was to fringe this down here. And it's done. So that's going to hang on the door at Christmas. That's Snowman Banner. Bought as a kit off eBay, and I don't think they make it anymore. So that's that. Then my next, so many finishes. How did I do this? I was motivated by something. I'll go into that. I did show you this stitched up, but I've FFO'd it. And this is my little needle book. So this is Needlebook Lady, I think it's called, by Little House Needlecraft. Oh, I'm so bad. Why am I so bad at this? Hang on. Here we go. Little House Needleworks, yes, sorry. And it is Needle Lady Pocket. My apologies. Needle Lady Pocket. So I stitched that up. I made some changes with bits and pieces. This was a pattern that I got off Sydney Stitcher, Shazza, and she gave me the pattern, and I've since sent it on to Jan at Thread Garden. She's got it now. And then I made it into a needlebook. So I put this on the back. So I just used some random, fairly stiff linen that I had, and then I just got together some stuff that I had around the house. Oh, I did buy these little bee buttons because perfect, right? So I added the little buttons there. And for the closure, I added this little button here, which looks like a spool of thread. And I followed a tutorial that I found on YouTube, which I'll link it below. And they suggested use a hairband for the little closure thing, which I did. Just that goes over there. Right. And then I got a bit creative on the inside. So this is the outside, stitched down like that, right? And then on the inside, goes like this. So I got this idea off this tutorial, one of the tutorials I watched. I don't know if it's the one I've linked or another one. But this is a little token thing from Aldi, the supermarket. It's meant to have your shopping token on the bottom. Well, it's like 99 cents. So I bought one to hang. You can just hang stuff off it, right? And a little bit of ribbon sewn up here. And then I sewed in some pockets. So I've got, you know, my stuff. Some little needles in there. And then, oh, that's for later. More pockets in the back. And pages for my needles, which I haven't got my needles in here yet because I'm not too pretty. Anyway, so I really like it. It turned out I was really happy with it. And the fabric was just fabric I had lying around and actually left over from project bags that I made. See? Like matchy. Anyway, so it was just leftover fabric that I had, that, which just sort of seemed to go with it, doesn't it? So, yeah, that's my little needlebook. So I kind of love it. It's a bit of fun. So that's that. That's another finish. What else have I got in the world of finishes? Do I have anything else? No. I think that is all the finishes. That's all my finishes. Now, the little thing that I was going to show you later. Well, so I entered into the local show. And I did very well. So it, in the local show society, whatever, here in my large country town. And I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 firsts and 1 second. This came second. Don't know why, but it came second, and that's the certificate in the back there. So this came second in the embroidered item less than 30 centimetres, needlework district section embroidery. Second place. Fair enough. And then like this here, this came first, and it was first in any cross stitch or canvas work, needlework district section embroidery. First place. Oh, this got a first. That's its ribbon up there in some, I can't remember what the section was for that. Stitches verse. I'll put that in here. That got a first. Gypsy Queen got a first. Yay! So she got it first as well. And Alex's pirate plaque, I showed in my last video, this one. That got first, and he claimed the prize money. I think it was like $5. I don't, hang on, I've got it here. So you win a little bit of money, which is kind of pretty fun. Where is it? I thought I had a thing saying what categories they were. I don't know. Anyway, I gave him a couple of dollars. I think I gave him $5 or something, or $10 or something, which is, I think you only win a couple of dollars. Anyway, my Alessandra Adelaide flower lace heart or lace flower heart, that came first, this one. So that came first. And the winner chicken dinner, the overall winner of the entire thing, grand champion, was Celtic Christmas. Yeah. So Celtic won the whole cross stitch thing. Look, now I'm going to be honest with you. There wasn't that much competition. I mean, I'm not saying the other, like there was a few, but there wasn't. I mean, I entered the most, especially in the specific cross stitch stuff. And there was a couple of other things, and they were really lovely, and that was really good. But there wasn't a lot of competition. So it's not like I clean sweeped out of hundreds of entries or anything here. You know, it was like just like a handful, maybe 10 entries or something. I mean, that's a lot still, you know, whatever. Just not trying to make out like I've like won the Sydney Royal Easter Show or anything, because that's not what we're talking about here. Anyway, the funny thing with Celtic Christmas is that I originally wasn't even going to enter her because I'm not entirely happy with the way I finished off the wall hanging. The stitching's great, the beading's great, all of that, but the wall hanging sewing, because I'm not a sewer, I just sew to finish off my projects. I'm not a sewer. I'm not a sewer, I just sew to finish off projects, right? It's a bit wonky. You can see here, this is not perfection. This is just a cross stitcher having a go. Anyway, but I did enter her. I'm glad I did because she won the whole damn thing. So that was great. So I got some vouchers. I ended up with $60 worth of framing vouchers from 2 different places. So $40 at one and $20 at another. So that's always a help with framing. That's really cool. And $70 in cash all up. So now that's pretty good, because you think, so $70 plus the 60, right? $130. I mean, it doesn't cost me that much to do this hobby. Like, I'm looking around at what I paid for stuff. Like this, I know, was a kit I bought on eBay, and I swear it was $5 in a kit. Do you know what I mean? This can be a really economical hobby if you choose to make it so. If you want to buy heaps of charts and just store them and stash and have it as a collection, well, then it starts to go up in price. But if you just want to buy stuff and stitch it, you can make it a really cheap hobby if that's what you want to do. Anyway, so that was the show. So that was exciting. That was really fun. Last year I didn't enter, and last year at the show there was a couple of pieces which were just breathtakingly gorgeous and deservedly won, and I'm glad I didn't enter last year because I wouldn't have won. And obviously those ladies took a rest this year and didn't enter, so that's why I won. But next year I'm going to make my friends who live here enter, because we need to keep this hobby alive. We need to keep it relevant and in the shows, and I don't want to be the only entrant or the only one of, you know, a handful of entrants here. So I'm going to try and get people that I know locally to enter next year, because Julie and Virginia, you're watching. Well, Virginia doesn't have a finished piece because she likes to do huge projects and then give them away. Julie, however, you have finished projects to enter next year. So that'll be happening. So that is that. The other thing, before I get on to new starts, it was my birthday in August. And so you may have seen this. If you follow me on Instagram, you definitely saw this. And if you follow Stitcherisa, you would have seen this in her video. I was in her, oh my God, wowzers video holy moly list. I can't remember what it's called. So for my birthday, my husband, on the sly, without me knowing anything, he organised a cake for me, which is lovely. Everyone loves cake. That's great. But not just any cake. It's like the cross-stitch cake of all cross-stitch. So let me paint a picture. So I'm sitting at the dining table here right now, right? So I walked in that door back there. There's a door there. That's to my garage. On my birthday, I went out. I don't know, whatever I was doing. I don't know what I did. I think I went to the supermarket. So I went out to the supermarket and I came back, and sitting on the table here was this cake. Amazing. And I cried. Like, I actually cried. It was the most amazing cake. So he organised it with this local cake maker. And the cake maker didn't know she wasn't a cross stitch. She didn't know anything about cross stitch. So she went and researched it and then came up with this concept, because my husband, the only brief was cross stitch. That's the brief. And she came up with that, and it was amazing. It was almost too good to eat, but we did. In fact, we actually ate the bottom half. The top half, we could not bring ourselves to cut into that embroidery hoop that she'd made out of fondant on top. Could not bring ourselves to cut into it. So we took the top layer off, and it's in the freezer. So she said we could freeze it. So that's what we did. And because it was just too pretty. It was too pretty. I went to put my knife into it, and my mum and dad were here, and my husband and my son, and they all started screaming, "No, don't do it!" So I was like, "Why? It's cake." They wouldn't let me do it, and that's fair enough. So I've stored it. Anyway, it was the most amazing thing, and amazing. I cried because it was so thoughtful of my husband to just sort of go and do that. And that was the comment that the cake decorator made to me too, because I sent her a thank you on Facebook. And she said, it was very sweet of my husband how thoughtful he was about it. And I know he's thoughtful and he's lovely, and he's really embarrassed that he keeps getting credit for this cake, because he's like, what? I just rang up someone and ordered a cake. And that makes it even better. So that was nice. Yes, that was really nice. So that was for my birthday. So the other thing he got me for my birthday was this pattern. Did I? No, I wouldn't have showed you in my last video because it was in July. Gee. He also ordered me a cross-stitch chart. What? And I love this chart for so many reasons. One, I love it because my husband went independently searching for something for me that was cross-stitch related. And secondly, because it has family meaning. And thirdly, because it looks like a pirate ship and my son likes pirates. What's this? So he went on eBay and he was looking up specifically for the Sirius. So the Sirius was a ship that was part of the first fleet of ships that came to Australia in 1788, as it says down there. When they all came over with all the criminals, convicts on the ship, and my husband's ancestors were on this ship. So the series, okay, I love it because it's history. You know, I love a bit of history, you know, Battle of Hastings and Tutankhamun and Nefertiti. This is history that means something to my family, or my husband's family, as does Battle of Hastings, because he had ancestors who battled there as well. So the Sirius actually, its fate, I believe, was that it actually got wrecked off Norfolk Island, I believe. That was its final fate. Anyway, looks like a pirate ship, and I'm stitching it. I'm stitching it now. I'm going to show you. So he bought that on eBay. It didn't arrive in time for my birthday, and he was really upset about that. I was like, that's fine. I'm so excited. He showed me a picture of it, and it's great. So that arrived, and I started it. Let me show you. Now I'm going to take the pattern off. Currently on the lap stand. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Where are we? There we are. There we are. So that's where I've started. That's where I've gotten to. So a couple of things about this wonderful piece. Did that show you what I've done? Yeah. So I've started on the sale. So this is, whoops, this sail here in the middle. Right, this is where we're at. So I'm stitching this on lamb's wool. So lamb's wool linen, it's the first time I've stitched on it, and it's a really, can you sort of see? No, that's the pattern behind, there we go. It's really quite rough. It's almost like a hessian, and I decided it was perfect for this because I kind of wanted to look rustic and old, okay, because it's an old ship, and I wasn't too keen on the white here as it is on the chart. I didn't really like it on the white. So I'm doing it on this lamb's wool because it's almost looks like an old sail or something, right? And I had it in my stash because I'd bought it from 123 Stitch to do another project, which I haven't actually ever stitched yet, but I will one day. That's another thing. But I don't think it will look particularly good on this anyway, the project that I have in mind for it, which I've had in mind for it for about 4 years. I'll show you that project. Do you want to see that one? It's called Butterfly Box. Here it is. So that was charted. That was from Just Cross Stitch magazine. That design, I really liked it. And I still really like it, but I've just never got around to stitching it. And the called for fabric was lamb's wool, so I bought it. But I don't think it's going to be particularly good on that anyway. So this just seemed like it would be the perfect fabric to stitch this ship on. But it's very rough. And when I mentioned it on a post somewhere or other that I was going to use this, people were like, oh, just make sure you like it first. And it is very rough. Anyway, I decided to try another thing that I saw a post about when I did this piece. And that was to go and get myself some beeswax. This is my new thing. So I went on eBay. There was a post on Stitch Mania about beeswax. And someone posted an image of their cross stitch and said, look how flat my stitches are. I'm using beeswax to condition my thread. And these stitches were perfect. Now just look at these stitches, okay? Just try and get up close. Let me just try and line it up. I mean, it's a bit see-through. But those stitches are pretty damn neat, I think. Okay? You see that there? And I think it's down to beeswax. So I went on eBay and for, I believe it was $6.95 free postage, I got all this beeswax plus a piece that I'm using plus a piece I gave to my friend Julie to try. And look how cute they are, hey? They are gorgeous. So, and it smells lovely. It's like just a really faint, sweet honey smell. So, and I got this old tin that I found lying around somewhere, and I keep the piece that I'm using in here. So this is the piece that I've been using, and if you look at the back of it, you can see I've been dragging the thread through it. And what I do is I get a piece of thread and I pull it through and I pull it through again, and that's it. So it's not a lot of beeswax on it, but no tangles in your thread, none. There are no tangles in it. Look at the back. There's been no knotting on this. Should I stop that? What have I done? No, sorry. Like it just doesn't knot. Oh, that's fine. So it doesn't knot, and the threads just seem to lay. It's like it railroads it because it's been conditioned. I've used Thread Heaven in the past, and I used Thread Heaven when I stitched Battle of Hastings because it was really fluffy, the thread that came with it. This is, I'm just using DMC, but I really like the beeswax. So now the only thing is I don't want to start a project. I don't want to use beeswax on a project that I've already started in case it does change the colour of the thread. You know, like it might slightly change the colour, like, you know, TLC, Teresa Stitcher, on one of hers where she was using white, she started using a bit of Thread Heaven and it kind of dirtied the white. So just in case, I've decided to road test beeswax on this project from start to finish, and just then I'll decide if I want to use it again in the future. But so far, I really like it. So far, I think it really makes the stitching really simple and hassle-free, and it really seems to condition the thread, and it's that cheap. I mean, $6 for, what have I got, 5? I got 7 of these for $6.95, free postage, for $1 each. And, I mean, it's going to last you years. And I got it from these people on eBay, if you want to buy off them, and plus they're really cute in these little moulds. So it was nice. Anyway, so that's something I'm trying out, and so far I really like it because I think it's really just making the stitches look pretty damn good. So that's one of my new projects. I decided to start that because I finished Nefertiti, so I deserved a new start. Isn't that right? That's right. So I started that on the mid-September. But I also decided to start another thing mid-September because why not? Because I'd finished a project, and I really like having a project in hand, and everything I had at the time was on the frame. So I decided to pull out for no reason, but then I realised it was the start of spring, so actually there was a very good reason. I pulled this little kit out of my stash, which is a gold collection Petite, which is called Butterfly Vignette. I don't know how you say that, but it's basically, can you hear all these mobile phones going to? This word here, if you can pronounce it, I looked it up. It's basically a picture without a frame or something is what it means, but you can see it's just like looks like a photo someone's taken, and it's a bit of the, bit of it's out of the shot or whatever. Anyway, that's what it's called. And I had it in a kit from my stash. So I started that. So that's it there. So it's great because it's a little dimensions kit, so it's no fuss. It's all good, 18 count Ada. And I bought this little frame because I was like, my Q-snap is too big for this piece of fabric. You can see how big it is. It's just that size. And the Q-snap that I've got is too big for this piece of fabric. So I was like, oh. So I went to Lincraft, and they had these little frames, rectangular frames, and they had like 40% off store-wide, and it cost me, I think, $4 for this frame. And it was exactly the right size for this, so I can just stitch on it because you can see how small it is. And a lot of it's half stitches because it's the dimensions, which is what they do. See that? Yeah, so I've just been stitching away on that. I just think it's really cute. And it's a nice little in-hand project, so I've got that going on. So, that's 2 new projects. Oh, and I just want to show you this that I bought. I bought this. It's a bit out of whack, this video. Oh, I don't know. I'm just sort of rambling, but that's what we do, isn't it? I bought this chart. I bought my first Satsuma Street. And I bought this in June. It's called Pretty Little Hawaii, if you haven't seen it. It's cute as a bird. And let me show it to you. If I can get it out of the damn bag. Pretty Little Hawaii. See? Love it. Love the bright colours. Love colour. I love Hawaii because that's where I got married. My husband and I ran away to Hawaii and didn't invite anyone, and we have 3 weeks of pure bliss in Hawaii. So it's a very special place for us, and all the things that you see in the image here are things that you would know if you've been to Hawaii. All of these things are places and things that you would recognise. Like this here in the middle is at Pearl Harbor. That's the Arizona Memorial, and there's the pink is the Hilton, I think, and of course volcanoes, and there's Diamond Head there, and the Hawaiian Cultural Center and all that stuff. So it's very it's lovely, and it's a very happy looking chart. So I bought that, and I think I'm going to stitch it on mushroom Lagana because I've got some. And I think I'm doing it on Mushroom Lagana because I think Mushroom Lagana often looks really great with pops of colour on it. So that's what I'm thinking at the moment. Maybe I'll change my mind, but that's what I've got it sitting with. I haven't got a plan on when I'm going to start it yet. But so I got married in 2011. I don't want to wait till 2021 to stitch it, which would be my 10th anniversary. I don't know. I've just got it ready to stitch whenever I'm going to stitch it, but it's just for probably an anniversary thing or something. I'll decide it is. But it just makes me happy. Hawaii makes me happy. I did a Hawaiian wedding sampler. So I wouldn't make this a wedding sampler because I already have a Hawaiian wedding sampler, which I'll put a photo in here to show you. So that was a wedding sampler that I bought that was Hawaiian theme with the, the frangipanis and stuff on it. So I've already got a wedding sampler, so it wouldn't be that, but I've got to find an excuse to stitch it. And the other reason I bought it was because Satsuma donated 15% of the purchase to the volcanic eruption that was in, the really dramatic volcanic eruption in Hawaii, which I haven't seen much about on TV, so I don't know if it's still going on, but just spectacular lava flows. And, it looked amazing, but obviously devastating and dangerous. But so 15% of the purchase of that went to that relief fund, which I thought was just really nice. And it was a great excuse to buy a Satsuma because I love Satsuma. I've admired Satsuma for a long time because it's so bright and colourful, and I just think they're fabulous. So what a perfect excuse to buy one. So I've got that. What else have I done? My other new start. So it's 2 new starts, and my third is this one. Another Mill Hill. So this is Buttons and Beads Christmas Village, part of the Christmas Village series, and this is Barber Shoppe. And because I love stitching things with meaning, everything I stitch has to mean something to me. It can be really, obscure, but it means something to me. I can't just stitch something because it's pretty. I don't know. It's got to have deeper meaning for me. And the deeper meaning for this is it's to celebrate my husband's beard. So Barber Shoppe is started. And it's also I'm stitching on Mushroom Lagana rather than the perforated paper that comes in the kit because my plans for FFOing it I think will work better on fabric. So this is where I'm up to now. I've done quite a bit of the stitching. I started this on the 1st of October as a little bit of a stitch along with my friend Julie. God, how many mentions do you want in this video, Julie? Because she has 3 Mill Hill kits. Her first one that she started on the 1st of October. And she's got 3 in total. So we're going to start one on the 1st of October, which we've done, one on the 1st of November and one on the 1st of December. We're going to start Mill Hill kits. So if you want to get on the Mill Hill kit bandwagon, the 1st of the month we're doing Mill Hill kits for the next 2 months. So I started Barber Shoppe, and they're just so cute. The Christmas Village series is adorable, and there is a Facebook group for people who are stitching any of the Christmas Village Mill Hill series. I think Stephanie runs it. Miss Oh So Crafty. I believe she's the admin on the group, and she invited me to the group. Thanks, Stephanie. And you'll see different ways that people are stitching up this Christmas Village series. Stephanie's just finished. She's done 6 on one piece of fabric. How many have you done on that? I'm just going to look you up on Instagram. Where are you? Here you are. She just finished the Village Bakery on hers. Here, I'll show you. Look. There's Stephanie's Village Bakery, and that is on a piece of fabric with 8. Sorry, not 6. 8 of the series so far, and I think she's going to continue the series on hers as well. So she's stitching them all together, which is going to look amazing, and she's doing a snowflake type border around the edge and stuff. So they're so cute, these pieces. But I'm doing just this one at this moment, and because it's for Beard's first Christmas, because he did have a beard last year, but then he shaved it off by the time he got to Christmas, because Christmas here is summer and he felt too hot. but this year I'm making him commit to the beard, and I'm stitching this for the beard. It's got a whole lot of beads to go in it, obviously, because it's a mill hill. So this is just, I've almost finished the stitching. I've got a bit more to do here. There's like a veranda with another tree kind of on the side here and some more of the ground down the bottom. But all of this stitching is finished in the rest of the space. And then it's all going to be filled in with beads. So you can see by the gaps that there's going to be an awful lot of beads in it, which is great. And there's a charm, a star charm that hangs from the middle of the roof there. And it's so nice. So nice to stitch on a mill hill. They're just beautiful. And it's kind of fun stitching one on fabric. So my plan for finishing this is to do a the cat's climbing the chair across the table from me. I'm going to finish it in a no-sew cube, which is one of Carolyn Mazzio's tutorials. If you want to wind back in time and go back to one of our original Flosstubers, I'll make it into a no-sew cube because they're really easy, and I've made a few of them and they're really effective. So that's what that'll be going to. So I'm going to do, so that's my 1st of October mill hill start, and then I've got 2 more that I'm going to do, one for the 1st of November. I don't know which way I'm going to do these in yet. One for the 1st of November and one for the 1st of December. These are the other 2 that I'm going to finish up. These are the other 2 mill hill Christmas things that I have in my stash. So then all my mill hills Christmas ones are done. I do have another non-Christmas mill hill thing in my stash. So then I'll do those. I think that's it. Is that it? Let me just check Instagram a sec, quickly. I think that's everything that's been going on at the moment. Oh, I just got to tell you about one thing. The most exciting thing is that, you know how I have this lap stand here? This is my Easy Stitch lap stand, originally by American Dream Products. And if you are an American Dream product person with these lap stands and frames, then you would know that they stopped trading because they retired. And then, which was really sad for all of us fans of their products, because there's some consumables that go with the frame, which is a Velcro type product. Anyway, and then it turned out that embroidery.com was going to start stocking and manufacturing, continuing on with their products, which is really good news for all of us, so we could continue to get more frames and the Velcro and knobs and other things and lap stands. Wow. I have been debating for years whether I should get a floor stand and whether I should invest in the Millennium stand, Millennium frame, but we all know how long and painful the ordering process is with them. So I'd put that off. And then I thought about quantum frames, but then that's changing my scroll frame system. And I'm really happy with the scroll frame, but I wanted a floor stand. Anyway, big news this month was that embroidery.com has got a floor stand, the Easy Stitch floor stand that goes with the Easy Stitch scroll frames. Fabulous news. So I have one on layaway at the moment. They have a layaway system, which is amazing because there was an introductory price for it. It's still going to be very expensive in Aussie dollars. It's almost going to be $600 delivered in Australian dollars. It's 345 American dollars, 345 American for the floor stand. Convert that to Australian, it's about 420. Oh no. Yeah, it works out with the shipping about 420 US dollars. And then once you convert that to Australian dollars, it's just under 600. You know how I said it's a really affordable hobby? Well, it really can be. It depends how deep you want to go into it. if you, let's pretend you're watching this and you're not a cross stitcher and you don't already know this. So this is a Q-snap, right? Q-snap, which is just a cheap kind of frame. They're like 20 bucks. Great, buy them anywhere. Fabulous. If you want to start stitching, you get a $20 frame, you get a pattern for, you can buy a kit for $20, $30, $40, you know, got some scissors, whatever. And you're stitching for hours. Now, the floor stand's going to cost money, but I'm so excited about it. Can't wait to have it set up. I've got my chair ready. I've got my stitching space ready for it. And I can't wait for it to arrive. And when it arrives, I'll do a full, like, review of it and everything and let you know what it's like. I mean, it looks amazing. It's made from the same oak that the scroll frames are made from. It's beautiful like that, and there's a lot of information on the embroidery.com Facebook page if you're interested in finding out more about this floor stand. I just can't wait for it to arrive. Yeah, so when it gets here, I'll show you what it looks like and talk about it. So that's really exciting. And now I'm going to go and do some stitching. Damn it. That's right. It's my day off. It's overcast. It's going to rain, which is great because we're in the middle of a drought here, so we really need rain. And we had a big storm yesterday, and there should be some more rain today. It's lovely and overcast. And the flowers are out because it's spring, so that's really nice. So I'm just going to stitch the day away until I have to go pick my son up from school and take him to swimming lessons. So that's that. So I do have plans to do more regular videos. That'll be in the works, I promise. Until then, this has given you some update on my life. As normal, you can follow me on Instagram. I do post regularly on Instagram. So if I stitch, I post. So that's Pyrex Stitches, at Pyrex Stitches. And I also have a Facebook page as a blogger on there, which is Pyrex Stitches. Just search Pyrex Stitches. Stitches, not Stitcher. Stitches, E-S, not E-R. If you search me on Facebook, you'll come across my page there, and that whatever I post on Instagram gets posted on my Facebook page as well. So you can follow what I'm doing and what's going on there. And if you want to ask me questions, please comment below, subscribe, all that kind of bizzo. Comments are great, and everyone loves getting comments on their videos because it means someone's watching. But you can also send me a message on my Facebook page, Pyrex Stitches, or on Instagram. Anyway, it'd be lovely to see you in any of those places. So thank you, Stitchy World, for watching, and I will catch you in the near future. Can't say exactly when, but there'll be more. Until then, bye-bye. Bye. Oh, one take. Phew. Amazing.